Hi everybody, we're going to do a bit of English and this is one of our building blocks to working towards our narrative, and we're going to be looking at using third person appropriately. Now, reflecting back on some of your work last week, I see, and again, much like maths, there are very common mistakes that pretty much all children make. And this is staying in third person or writing in third person, because sometimes we can swap between third person and first person, and it can make our writing a little bit what we call disjointed and a bit tricky to read. So have a think about what is third person. So I'm going to show you a picture here. So first person is when we use I or we. We are the person. It is us. Now, this is what most children feel most comfortable in my experience of teaching. This is what most children revert to, and that's what they go to naturally. It's the first person. It's taking your perspective. Yeah, you're looking through the eyes of a particular character, and you can arguably this puts us in a more comfortable mind to experience the feelings and emotions of the character. Second person is not as commonly used. It's when we're thinking about you. You need to do this. You should do this. Think about when we write instructions and things like that. Finally, we've got third person. Now, when you read books, generally, not all the time, they're most likely to be in third person novels. You are an observer, you're stepped back from the action and you are watching and describing something that has happened. But not from the perspective of somebody that's doing something, from somebody else watching. You're the observer. Now, this is, in my experience, I guess this would depend on what books you read, but in most books that I read, it is third person. I prefer to read in third person, but again, it's a preference for everybody. But we're going to be looking at trying to stay in a third person, because that is what our narrative is going to be about. Or that's how we're going to write a narrative. So, first person, second and third. There's 3 ways you can write a story. They're called third, first and second. So first person, when you write in first person, you put yourself in the story by describing how you felt and what you were doing. You use the personal pronoun I with a capital letter. I saw 2 messy monsters. That is you. Second person, when writing in the second person, address the reader directly. This type of writing feels personal to the reader. You use you and your. You might imagine is a good little phrase that you could use. When you see a monster, you should tell them to tidy up. That is second person. Third person, when you're writing in third person, the story is about the other people and not yourself or the reader. Use the character's name or pronouns such as he or she. He sneakily crept up on them. Fudge the monster looked scared. This is third person. Step out of the action and just observe it. Watch it. So, here are some pronouns. He, she, or they. He swam over to the island of rubbish. When she swam past the school of fish, she wondered if they would be able to avoid the polluted island. They played the plastic bottle not knowing that it was not meant to be in their habitat. So hopefully that's cleared up what third person is. We have done work on this before, so think back when we were in school, and you've probably been doing work on this throughout the most of your time, especially in Key Stage 2. So it's a really important skill that we stay consistent. Now, you can write, most of the time, you choose a person and you stay in that person for the whole of your writing. So, these sentences, this is the One Chili Challenge. These sentences are written in first second and third person. Next to each sentence, identify which person they're in. So you can read them, tell me if they are first person, second, third person, third person. And here up the side, there are some clues we can look for. If we have a look at the dinosaurs or the monsters, we can see what person they're written in. Chili. These sentences are written in first and second person. Rewrite them into third person. So, write them in third person. This is a really important skill to master because we're going to be writing in third person at the end of the week. So this paragraph should be written in third person, but there are a few errors. Can you rewrite this paragraph correctly in third person? Now, this is a really good skill. That's just taking that understanding of third person a little bit further and being able to spot it in our mistakes. And it can help us when we come to edit our writing. I really look forward to seeing you master this skill so we can really have a consistent text, or a tense, sorry, when we come to write our